14 Space. Once you accept time and space as real, you will consider yourself minute and short-lived. But are they real? Do time and space depend on you or you on them? As body you are in space. As mind you are in time. But you are not mere body with a mind in it. The here is everywhere and the now is always. Go beyond the I am the body idea and you will find that space and time are in you, and not you in space and time. Once you have understood this, the main obstacle to realization is removed. Space is created. Everything starts, everything happens, in the space of the cosmos, and it results in concrete actions of the worldly space. Whatever happens in this concrete world, the instruments and the aids come from the space. The raw material comes from the space. Words or sounds are expressions of the space. The space is there prior to the light. All is spontaneous, there is no author. The four elements are presided over by space. In what activity is space engaged? All this is the product of the five elements, and the elements, including space, are substances. Space is like darkness, nothingness, like night. Out of space vital breath arose as a vibration. Who is born? Prana comes from space, mind arises from prana, and you identify with the mind. When it is understood that I am not an object and have no form, one knows that whatever is seen is not I. Everything is in space. Even desire is of the nature of space. Space will take the shape of concepts that you give to it. The primordial Maya is of the nature of space. Maha-akasha is nature, the ocean of existences, the physical space with all that can be contacted through the senses. Chid-akasha is the expanse of awareness, the mental space of time, perception, and cognition. Param-akasha is the timeless and spaceless reality, mindless, undifferentiated, the infinite potentiality, the source and origin, the substance and the essence, both matter and consciousness, yet beyond both. It cannot be perceived, but can be experienced as ever witnessing the witness, perceiving the perceiver, the origin and the end of all manifestation, the root of time and space, the prime cause in every chain of causation. Maha-akasha is the infinite space. The infinite space is dark. In that physical space all the universe arises and sets and is destroyed. All the experiences that are going on in the play of consciousness, they are just gone, ending up in pure space. The whole world is in an ever-changing state, and no form will remain permanently. Finally all the forms will vanish in space and become formless. Millions of people, animals, and other beings have come and gone, but the sum total of the universe does not become more or less. It remains unchanged. They have never become less. They are always there. One space is covered by more subtle and more expansive space. The space of the world is there because of the space of the mind, or prior to mind. At the base of space is the knowledge I am. The space is contained in the knowledge I am, and prior to I am is Chid-akasha. Chid-akasha is the source of the universe. Chid-akasha is the root of the mind space. Because of the Chid-akasha, the great space, Maha-akasha, is there. Chid-akasha is that raw material by which you evaluate whatever you experience or whatever you observe. In Chid-akasha you evaluate the world as name and form, that a form is like this or like that, but when name and form are dissolved, a dissolution takes place. All forms dissolve in Maha-akasha. In the process of becoming more subtle, the external forms are dissolved into Maha-akasha, no more names and forms. Simultaneously the process of evaluation and mind functioning stops, dissolves itself into Chid-akasha. When evaluation is not there, the mind is like space. When both Maha-akasha and Chid-akasha become still, it is space only and you are the space. You should be like space. If you are the space and not the body, then at that stage the body does not remain the body because there is no one to evaluate the body as body. The quality of knowingness, which is within, is called Chid-akasha. The light of the space of consciousness has blazed into such a dazzling conflagration that it is called Maha-akasha. The space of consciousness is smaller than the subtlest. What happens in the Chid-akasha is absorbed, and photographic pictures are taken immediately. These are the impressions you store. Unless you know your eternal nature, it will go on the same way, i.e. recur. The wish that one's consciousness should last forever is the root Maya. It is the source of devotion and love. That is called Chid-akasha. The universe is created in that. The original nature of it is not to be, not to exist. If you know this well, there will not be any loss if and when the visible comes to an end. When you are the space, you are no more the body, but whatever is contained in the space, and the space, you are. This space is known as Chid-akasha. When you are the Chid-akasha, you are subtler than the physical space, expansiveness is more. In Chid-akasha you are still confined, still conditioned by thinking I am, therefore the next is Param-akasha. Param-akasha is the highest, in which there are other akashas, 7. In Chid-akasha this knowingness is I am, but in Param-akasha there is no is, or is not, it transcends everything. The entire universe, Maha-akasha, exists only in consciousness, Chid-akasha, while I have my stand in the absolute, Param-akasha. Prakriti. And Purusha. Before you think, you are. In the space all movement happens, for any appearance or any movement, the space must be there. Prakriti. And Purusha. These are two principles. Purusha means stationary, Prakriti is the movement. They have no body or form. Beginning from space, which is steady, there is the movement of the air, Prakriti. The Prakriti projections begin there. With the air and the sky there is friction, and out of the friction there is heat, and when this heat subsides it oozes in the form of water. The water falls as rain, and where it settles the earth formation takes place, and out of the earth the sprouting of the vegetation occurs. At the stage of earth and vegetation only the formation of bodies, forms, shapes, takes place. Then various insects, animals, human species, are born, but all the formation is already decided in the space. The fate is already sealed in the space. There is the contact of Purusha and Prakriti in the space, and its final culmination is the creation of human bodies. It is all the play of Prakriti and Purusha. It is not real, but in the realm of Maya it is real. Understand all this game and get out of it. Understand how futile it is to have this shape. The very base is that you do not know you are. Suddenly the feeling of I amness appears. The moment it appears you see space, mental space, that subtle sky-like space. You are that. When you are able to stabilize in that state, you are the space only. When this space-like identity I am disappears, the space will also disappear. There is no space. When that space-like I am goes into oblivion, that is the eternal state, nirguna, no form, no beingness. As soon as consciousness stirred, space-time came. In this space-time everyone suffers. When you become one with consciousness you become one with space. Space is everywhere but consciousness is prior to space. The light of consciousness is space. You will experience its vastness when your body consciousness goes. All that is seen and perceived in space is the creation of consciousness and is infused with it. The entire created world of form will finally merge into space. Your consciousness, the sense of presence, is the very shell in which the waking world or the dream world proliferates. In your consciousness, in the sense that I am, an inner world is being perceived as something external, as something taking place in the waking state, but it is a dream. Whatever is visible or perceptible is an outcome of space only. When all that disappears, again space prevails. Your world concretizes out of space and in space, and you term all that with various names and titles for your convenience to carry out your day-to-day activities. In reality none of such creations has any valid form or individuality of its own. I amness and the world are one. The form of your consciousness is space. When space and I are not different, Wherever I go, that will be the place where I am already present. You will slowly realize you are just like space, because space is the beginning and the end of everything. The world is in space, but you are prior to space. You are void just like space. Just as space is unbroken, so are you. You are neither small, nor big. You have filled each and every void, and still you are. You are all-pervading space that is prior to words and is called consciousness. It is of the nature of self-love. Because it is prior to words, it can have no meaning. When you are stabilized in your own self, then there is no otherness, you are everything. If you abide in yourself, you are like space and there is no duality left. You are as expansive and as subtle as the space, and that is liberation. You are not conditioned by any name or form. If you are like space, what is the point of going elsewhere? The space which is here is also everywhere else. Know yourself as beyond space and time, in contact with them only at the point of here and now. The self is subtler than the space.